Hey, I'm Jeff and welcome back to another video. Earlier in the year, I bought some cactus seeds. I put them in some soil, so let's see how they're doing. I received the package in March of 2024 with all of my seeds in there from a company called Cactus Kingdom. I believe they are based out of Ontario, Canada. I did place an order for 5 separate items. I'll leave the list as well as the prices up on the screen here. But basically, I made this order specifically for the Cactus geometricus. It's the cactus with the round balls. Normally, you can find them online for like $40 for a plant, so $20 for 10 seeds is a pretty good deal. Plus, it gives me the chance to learn how to grow cactus from seed. I'm going to be placing them in their own pots, that way I can keep them separated, that way I know which is which. You want to make sure that you use a cactus specific mix. I'm just using this ProMix Premium Cactus mix. I'm just going to be filling up each pot about 3/4. That way you can have a little bit of distance from the top just for airflow and circulation and that sort of thing. So I'm just going to be adding it just to about that level right there, and then I'm just going to be packing it down. I'm watering the soil before I add the seeds just because if you place the seeds on top of the soil and then add water, it's probably going to dislodge them and it's going to be an absolute mess. I'm also adding water into the bottom of the pan so the soil can soak up all that water. You see there's dry pockets of soil, so this is telling me it's hydrophobic. So I just want to make sure it sits in the water and that way all that dry soil absorbs it. I don't want this video to be long and drawn out, so if you want to know the exact step-by-step process, they have a very good article right here that tells you everything you need to know, so I'll leave the link down in the description of this video. Some of these seeds are extremely tiny, and when you place them on the top of the soil there, you can barely even see them. Now, I'm not pushing them down into the soil or anything like that, and afterwards I'm just sealing them up in these Ziploc bags just to keep in the humidity. These geometricus seeds are quite a bit larger, and honestly they look like pieces of dried up fruit. After placing them on the soil, I'm just going to be pushing them lightly into the soil. I don't want to cover them or to submerge them completely. The website says that you can sometimes sprinkle a little bit of sand on top just to keep them covered, but I'm just pushing them down lightly into the soil. And afterwards, I'm placing it in the Ziploc bag here just to lock in humidity. You also want to make sure that you keep it warm. Right now, my house is around 23 degrees Celsius. I'm going to be placing it under these grow lights, making sure that they get sufficient light in order to germinate. And I'll be checking to make sure that the condensation remains on the bags because you definitely don't want them to dry out through this process. So it's a big jump into September of 2024. It's been about 6 months since they have been placed in the soil, and you can see we definitely have some pretty cool growth. This is the geometricus, and I'm actually surprised that they are quite tall, I guess. I thought they would be a little bit more round even right from the start, so you can see the 2 original leaves and then the new growth. This is the San Pedro cactus. It is looking healthy as well, and here's the Astros. This is the assorted container. You can see some pretty cool growth down in there as well. It's just so neat seeing them just on such a tiny, tiny little level. This one I don't even know how to pronounce, but only 2 have sprouted, but we do have a weed as well as some pretty cool looking moss in the bottom of the container. This is just the assorted cactus. I have no idea which varieties these are, but I just love the little spines on them. I'm excited to see how these ones grow over time, and then I'll have a nice collection. So they'll just be placed back in natural sunlight, and we'll check back in another few months. It's about another 4 months down the road, and I wish I had some big updates for you guys, but I don't. They're actually quite dismal, and I'm going to start off with the Astrophytum. This is the assorted. They got cooked. I'm pretty sure they're dead. They're looking pretty dry and crispy. I think I let them get too dry after I opened up the bags. I did acclimate them for a number of weeks with the Ziploc bags, so they were acclimated to just regular house conditions, but I think I let them get too dry in combination with maybe too much light. So not good with these guys. Yeah, they're a little squishy. So not doing well with those guys. Now for the geometricus, the ones that I pretty much made the entire order for. They're still growing, not anything drastic. I did add a grow light now that we're kind of into the middle of winter. Through my south-facing window, these guys weren't receiving as much light as they were kind of throughout the summer and fall. So now that it's a little bit darker, the days are shorter, I did add a grow light, and hopefully they perk up growth again. But you can see they're not looking the greatest. They're definitely not as green and vibrant as they was, and you can see there's almost like a little bit of scabbing. Now, I've never actually found a thrip on this, but this is pretty consistent with previous thrip damage that I've had on other plants. and yeah, they basically just wreak havoc. So I've treated it a number of times with kind of like an insecticidal soap. It's an organic mixture, and I'm hoping that this has taken care of the thrip issue, but there's definitely some damage and discoloration on the plant. Now, the one container that's doing absolutely fantastic is just the regular assorted cactus. There's pretty much no damage or anything on these guys. I've treated this with that insecticidal spray as well, hoping to blast off and control thrips, but they are so cool. I just love how small they are. These San Pedro cactus ones, little bit of discoloration on the tops. You can see it's almost like a kind of like a browning or red. I did give these guys some water the other day just because they were looking a little bit dry as well. I know with the smaller seedlings, you're supposed to keep them a little bit more damp or well watered compared to regular cactus or cacti. So yeah, I just gave these guys a good soaking the other day, as well as a little bit of cactus fertilizer too. And for this one here, you can see it still has the two small little seedlings just kind of tucked away in the corner. Now, there's a couple things that I want to do with these plants. With the exception of this one, I'm just going to set that aside over there. These guys, I want to get them out of the soil. Most things that I've read say to not repot these until they've basically outgrown the propagation container. Now, since I have a thrip issue primarily with the like these guys right here, I want to get them out of the soil and put it into more of a gritty mixture, and that way I can just provide more airflow to the roots as well. So I know I'm taking a little bit of a gamble taking these out of the original soil, and I'm actually kind of curious to see what the root system looks like on these little seedlings. So again, in the name of science and just making things interesting for my channel, I'm going to be taking these out of the just regular cactus soil and putting them in a good gritty succulent cactus mixture. I filled up this little saucer with half water and half the isopropyl alcohol, 70%, just to help clean them. I was looking for my peroxide, but I couldn't find it. So now I'm just going to take these guys out. I do have some larger tweezers, and with the help of a pencil as well as a little spoon, I'm just going to, oh, here's a seed. This one looks like it didn't germinate. It's still firm, so I'm just going to set that aside. If it hasn't germinated already, I'm going to assume it's probably not going to. So just going to take this and dig it down. And I'm going to use my tweezers just to pull it out of the soil. And it's actually got a larger root system than I thought it was going to have. I thought it was going to have like just one or two roots. So all I'm doing with the pencil is just knocking away some of the soil here. That way I don't damage any of these tiny, tiny little roots. So that's pretty cool. Now I'm just going to place it in the container of alcohol and water and just submerge that. So that was pretty cool. I'm going to definitely throw out the soil here. I'm not keeping it because if there's any nasty thrips in there, I don't want to transfer that to the new soil. Okay, so this one has tiny little root. Just going to knock that off, put it in the water. After these Geometricus have been in this water for a little while, I'm just going to dump it out. I'm not going to be using it for the other cuttings there. So same thing, I'm just loosening up each individual plant and then knocking away the soil. I don't think this one has too many roots. There's some clumps on it. It's a smaller cutting, and I definitely don't want to lose these. Now I just set up a little final rinse station. I just got some tap water. These plants are normally about $40 just as a small cactus. So placing this order, like everything, all these seeds were 60 bucks. So even if I keep, or if I'm able to salvage 2 of these, then it's definitely worth purchasing the seeds. Now the thing with seeds, or growing these cactus from seeds, is obviously they take a long time. So if you want a large cactus quickly, don't do the seed method, just go out and buy it. But I'm just interested in the overall process of getting them to germinate and just to see how long they actually take to grow. I refilled the saucer, just going to put a little bit of alcohol in there. And now let's take out these San Pedro, cactus ones. Get my tweezers, get everything ready. And again, I'm just digging down and then kind of lifting up, just making sure that I'm not severing any kind of deeper roots. Like that. Oh, they're all dirty now. Ooh, this one's got some, looks like some nice roots. Same thing, I'm just gonna knock off the soil. So this is pretty cool. Just looks like a little pickle or something. A little cucumber. Put that right in the alcohol. Flip it around. Both sides there, making sure it just gets coated. I'm just gonna, actually this one feels like it's rooted a bit deeper. So I'm just gonna go right to the bottom and then lift up. Okay, so it comes off like that. Knock away the soil. We got two. I don't know if it's from the same plant or if they're separate seeds, so I'm just gonna clean that up a bit. Okay, I just pulled this one out. Look at the roots on these. Look at that. That is sweet. So nice, healthy roots on these ones. So I rinsed the San Pedro cactus off a bit more, and you can see the geometricus, they're still soaking in the water there. This is what I'm going to be using for the succulent mix. Just a nice gritty mixture. I don't even know if I have enough for all of them, so I think for right now I'm just going to be doing these two, and then once I order some more, then I'll be potting these ones up. So these ones, they're actually looking pretty decent. There's no real damage on them. I'm just gonna continue to monitor, just making sure that there's no thrip damage. So I'm gonna start off with about half the pot filled with the soil. I'm gonna take it over to the shower here and just thoroughly rinse this off. After it's rinsed, it actually packs down quite nice. So I'm just gonna take these cuttings, or I'm gonna take the plants out of the water here and just set them aside. And then I'm going to just place them on top, pretty much. This little guy I'm gonna keep off to the side. So this larger one, I'm gonna put right here. So obviously I wanna make sure that those roots are submerged. I just removed some of the soil just so I can plant this one just a little bit deeper, maybe something like that. And then I can add the soil in around it. Like that. That way it kind of stays upright. I can use my pencil to help hold that up and just pack the soil around, something like that. And then I'll do the same with these guys. This one's got a little bit of a curvature, so I'm just gonna place it right there, put a little bit of soil just to prop it up, put them kind of close. This one I might put a little bit deeper, like that. It's like you're doing a little operation with these tweezers. You got to be very delicate, very precise. Once I water this again, then it's going to help just kind of pack down that soil, just so they don't move around. I'm going to put this one right here. Again, I want to make sure that root system gets a little bit deeper. And I don't have like a ton of extra soil here or mixture. So I don't want to use all of it until I can get another pack. So something like that. And then I got this tiny, tiny little guy right here, which I'm just going to put just along the side like that. And then I'm going to give this some water. I can always add a little bit more soil after I pot these ones up. I just want to make sure that I have enough for all of them. Now I'm just going to lightly water them. This guy's tipping over a bit. I want it to stay upright. Just help pack it down a little bit. Nice thing about this type of soil is it's really well draining. If water's not gushing out the bottom, sometimes a little stone can block the drain hole. So I like to just poke the hole there like that and it'll just start flowing out. So that's exactly how you want the soil to look and to drain, is just basically like a faucet. Process is identical. I might actually just add some of this mixture in and then just like I did last time, just poke some holes and kind of go from there. It's not easy, that's for sure. But I don't want the roots to be sticking out of the soil either, so something like that. Just gonna maybe lay them down just off to the side, and then I can adjust them after putting soil on top. There's one tiny little guy, so I'm gonna go like this. We'll try it like this, making sure that they're upright, the roots are down there, and then I'm just gonna add soil or the medium on top, covering those roots, and then I can adjust the plant like so. That actually worked out pretty good. These guys I need to stand up a bit more. This one, same thing. I'm just going to put some soil like that. This guy needs a little bit at the back. Whoops, stuck on the tweezers. Get a little more. Yeah, I don't have much left. Just a lot of the dust at the bottom of the bag here too, so fill it in. This guy I'm going to bring out a bit from the side and cover it up. So I added a bit of the medium just around the edges here. Here's another little guy I just popped in. Here's the geos. I'm going to have to rinse these off and give them a good thorough watering. They are rinsed off and well watered. I hope this does the trick for thrips. I might have to see if I can get some systemic or something like that, put it in the soil. Systemic here, like the granules, aren't available in Canada, so I'll have to try and source it elsewhere. But that will definitely take care of the thrips issue. And then once I get some more soil or fresh out, then I'm going to pot these guys up here as well. But like I said, for the most part, they're looking really good and healthy, so I have no concerns right now about these ones. This will be the final update in this specific video, but I will definitely be updating it down the road. I hope you enjoyed this type of content. I know it can be quite a drawn-out process, so from start to finish, I think it's about maybe 10 or 11 months. So it does take quite a bit of time and patience to grow any plant, but specifically cactus from seeds. So that's kind of what to expect over the course of a year, just very, very small growth. So if you have the time and patience and the will to get a cactus seed to germinate, then definitely give it a try. It's pretty fun and interesting seeing them sprout from just tiny little seedlings into plants like these, and hopefully one day I can get them large enough to the point where they can even produce flowers. If you enjoyed this video, or if you have any other comments or questions, please leave it down below in the comment section. I really do appreciate the support. Take care, everyone. Bye.